One of my entrepreneurs is sharing with me the other day a new idea. This is a very precious, gorgeous stage in her process. And it is so important that I hold it really well with her. And I want to bring you into that a little bit so that it can help you have context and have tools to work with your precious new ideas. All right, why do I call them precious? Think about when a new idea comes in. Maybe you're in the shower, not even thinking about anything, and boom, it comes in. Maybe you've been working hard at working on something, and all of a sudden, a new way of thinking about it or a new possibility emerges or comes to you, or it's like that light bulb happens, or maybe it speaks to you very, very quietly, and it starts to gain a little bit of volume and a little bit more clarity. Or maybe it's like a drumbeat that feels like it's just continuously there when you check in on it. Either way, aren't these metaphors compelling? Aren't these incredible ways to work with life and our possibilities? And new ideas are a pathway for us to be in active possibility creation in our lives. And what I see so much is that we haven't yet been given the tools and the really kind of instructions and directions on how to work with new ideas in ways that are productive and help those ideas be as successful as possible. Okay? So many times people come to me as a coach. Maybe they're looking for some movement so that new ideas can come in because they feel stuck. Maybe they're in a place where they feel like they have so many ideas and they don't know how to direct them or which ones to move forward on. Or maybe they have new ideas, but they keep shooting them down and they can't make any of them really happen. So they're starting to lose hope that it's possible that they can change their life. Knowing how to work productively and successfully with our ideas is a major skill. And it's something I find that I teach all the time. And so I wanted to create this video to share some of these pieces with you. Okay. So let's go back to my entrepreneur who's sharing about her new idea. This was a change from a direction she thought she was going in, and then suddenly a new direction emerged based on new information and a changing situation. A new idea emerged, and it was exciting, but she was in that spot of being self-conscious. And you can relate with that. It's raw. It's like, oh my gosh, maybe, but what if, right? And in these moments, the excitement, the inspiration, the buoyancy sometimes goes hand in hand with the but what ifs and I can't believe it and what will so-and-so say and all that. And so what I want to offer to you is that in this moment of letting yourself receive the new idea, it's actually huge to have those critical voices and what ifs and who do you think you are. I want you to ask those to take a back seat, even go on the other side of the wall for a little while. This is huge. And I call it new idea guarded vigilantly. Okay? It's like an acorn that's in the ground and it's getting all those nutrients and it finally has the movement and the strength and the courage to pop through that hard acorn shell, and it pushes a leaflet up. That leaflet is like your new idea. It is such a miracle, truly such a miracle. And it's not yet resilient. It's fragile. Okay? And so what would we do if a very precious leaflet popped up out of the ground and we wanted to help it to be as successful as possible? Well, just like my little pines I have in my backyard, I put a little fence around it, like a little, just kind of one of those tomato bolstering cage things. It's around it to protect it. Okay? So I want you to get real supportive and almost soft around a new idea, like, oh, look at you, precious little one. Hello. Welcome. Okay? Know that it took bravery for you to be open enough to receive that new idea. And now your job is to be with it and support it, like you would that little precious leaflet, or like you would a newborn in a situation where you're in a caretaking role. Okay? You're treating it like it's new and it's precious, and you want to see what happens when the sunshine comes on it, when the rain comes in, what happens in the soil that it's in. How can it support its own self? I see that with ideas. They're like new life coming up, okay? And you want to be supportive of it. One of the ways that we can support our new ideas is to be careful and aware of who we share them with. That's why my entrepreneur was talking with me about it. I'm very supportive. I see the preciousness of a new idea, and I hold it with care with them. So you want to think about in your life, where are there people, and different ideas would have different people, that could hold them well with you. And if it's someone you're not sure, or you feel like, no, I don't know if they'll hold that well, you just don't have to share yet, right? You can hold it to yourself or with a very small circle that feels like it's able to just hold it and say, oh, wow, or amazing idea. And they don't immediately jump in with the critical voice. You'll have enough discernment later, okay? I like to turn those critical voices into the idea of some discernment about good problem solving and decision making, not critical voices that trample. Like if I were to imagine putting cows out in my backyard, those little pines that I have would get trampled, right? I have to be aware and careful about what comes around it in the beginning, when it's so fresh and that leaflet is so new. Think about not that long from that leaflet stage. It's going to be much stronger if the sunshine and the soil and the water all work out for this little one. That acorn and leaflet will turn into an oak tree. And then all the cows can go out to pasture and it will be just fine. But in the beginning, you want to hold it real precious. Okay. Another thing I want to give is context, or I call it groundwork, around kind of like a platform of a way to think about ideas. Okay? I want you to hold that ideas are dynamic. They are meant to evolve, change, and grow. Okay? Again, sometimes I see where people come to me and they have had a new idea, maybe recently or maybe years back, and it's like that idea has gotten almost like cemented in a very specific, almost rigid form in their thinking. And they feel like if they don't adhere to the exact way that idea came in, they've failed it, or they've failed themselves. And I want to poof that myth, okay? Ideas are meant to evolve and grow as you grow and evolve with them. Okay, they're vehicles for our own possibilities, our own transformation of our lives, our own way of creating what we want for our life. Ideas are vehicles that help you get to the next step with that. Sometimes an idea comes in and it's like the big view of where you might get to in many years. Cool, it gave you kind of a signpost way far away, and something similar to that is something that you will eventually create, but it's far away. Sometimes ideas come as just the very next step to take, and then you find the idea changes. And that's part of the design, and I want to support that, okay? So like an example is many years ago, I'm working as a career advisor at a nonprofit, and I love so many parts of my job, but other parts of it, it wasn't a good fit for me. And so I find myself restless and stirring and working to create new ideas of what else could I do. And boom, in came an idea of being a dog walker. I was living in Providence, Rhode Island at the time. It's a city, so there were a lot of people that went off to work but had dogs. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is perfect. I can help people by, providing this service. I will make my own hours, which was so exciting for me. I will have more freedom. I can make money. And I want to be that person. I want to be hanging out with animals all day long. And I want to be that animal whisperer that's got 10 dogs on my leashes and everybody sees her and it's like, oh my gosh, look at her. She's amazing, right? I loved the idea. I was so into it. Okay. And yes, I had those critical voices come in and they were like, are you kidding me right now? You think you're going to make a living as a dog walker? You don't even have a dog. You're so flaky. Right? It's like you're so flighty. You come up with these random ideas and then you start running off in fantasy land with them. Why don't you just keep your feet on the ground, make the best of your situation, continue with your current job? Ugh, right? Unhelpful at that moment. Unhelpful. I get it. You have some decent points about I might not know yet all the things I need to do this, but go away right now. Let me roll with this idea for a little bit. So what happened in that real life situation is that it made me really think about how compelled I was to have my own business and have the freedom that involved and how much I wanted to be of service in some way. And so I really got to mull over that for a few months' time, actually, really consider it. It was like my fantasy dream of where my life might go. And I stayed open to where I might be pulled in a direction to get that going. I didn't jump into immediately quit my job and off I go into this new thing, but I was holding it as a hopeful, exciting possibility, okay? And then what happened next was that I learned that coaching and the profession of coaching is a thing. Before that, I did not even know it exists, okay? So I learned that there's a profession where you make your own hours, you get to be of service, you support people, and you get to do what I do now with coaching people. And I could get training in that, and it's totally complementary to my education background and how I love to work with people. Amazing. And when I discovered that, I had months of working with the possibility of having my own business. Previously, I never even considered it, which is bizarre to me because it's such a good fit for me. But I hadn't. Here I am in my, I think I was 29, 30 at the time. Not quite, almost 28. And here I'd never considered being an entrepreneur and having my own business. But dog walking was my entree into that. It was my little idea baby that was so exciting and compelling. And it ripped the Band-Aid off the possibility of having my own business. So then when an idea came in that was a better fit for me, I was ready for it. And I wasn't oh my gosh, having my own business, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I had already kind of processed that, worked with how I could do that. Thinking about how much would I need to make and how many dogs would I have to walk and blah, blah. I worked out all types of details. And I was like, oh, or what about this coaching thing? And then I was ready to move forward more quickly. What I mean by all this is that idea of being a dog walker, I didn't fail it at all. And it didn't fail me. It was incredibly useful. I have so much love for that idea choosing me and me choosing it and us receiving each other and being in relationship for many months. And it helped me get to the next step, which was one that I was ready to take more concrete action in. And within a year, I was certified and taking on new clients, my first clients as a coach, right? How cool is that? How cool is that? So these are some ideas I want you to work with about how to work with new ideas, okay? A couple big things that we talked about. You think about all the things you're taking from it, which may or may not be these points that I'm meaning to make, but what I want to say about it and to wrap up around it is These ideas are precious. You receive them. They are dynamic. They get to evolve and grow and change. And they help you evolve and grow and change with them. They are our vehicles for creating new possibility and creating the lives that we most want. Okay? So allow them to grow, evolve, and change. Treat new ideas preciously, like they are not yet resilient. They need more time. And so protect them. See how you can support them. Enjoy the buoyancy that they create while you also stay grounded in what the next step might be. In the beginning, keep those critical voices at bay. Discernment will be the next step, not this first step with the new ideas. All right, those are some things I wanted to share. I hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.